I'm Barbara. This is my tiny home, Stella. I'm parked at River Edge Tiny Home Village in Rio Communities, New Mexico. I have lived all over the place, and I have done almost everything that I ever wanted to do. I've been a research scientist, a teacher of science, state park ranger, national park ranger, and I've been a blue water sailor. I have lived in Alaska for 10 years and worked in the Northwest Arctic. So that's a little bit about me. No, nobody ever gave me the idea for a tiny home. It was the series of living in tiny spaces and making them work and understanding that you need to own your possessions. Your possessions should never own you. It's about appreciating who you are, what you can do. Living in a small space is an incredible confidence booster. I learn new things every darn day. I've been living in my tiny home for almost 10 years now. My tiny home is 28 feet by 8 feet. This is my lot at River Edge, and this lot is $400 a month. My water runs about $17. My electricity runs on average about $40 a month. So this beautiful space that I am working in is my garden. This garden is basically 8 months old. So first over here, we have the best tree that anyone could ever want. This is a Bubba type desert willow. Now, this right here is where the patio will be. It's close to the tree because eventually Barbara wants shade. So now that you've seen the outside of the house, let's go in and see my magnificent Stella. Welcome to Stella. Stella is approximately 220 square feet for the footprint and 320 square feet if you count both of the lofts. As with all things, this house is exactly what I wanted. But I was very instrumental in the design of this house. I am almost 70, and I purposefully asked for a bedroom on the ground floor. There comes a time when old people should not be climbing ladders, and I intend to live in this house for a very long time. So let's look at my kitchen. This beautiful cabinet is part of the kitchen because it's storage. This is my dining area. These are rescued chairs and a rescued table. This is also my picture wall. This reminds me of places I've been. This is an apartment-sized refrigerator, so it saves on space. As we move this way, we're in the kitchen proper. You can see I have granite countertops. These were near and dear for me because they come from the earth. And I wanted things in the house that reminded me of nature.
Life gets complicated and stressful. I know you know what I'm talking about. And that's why me time is so important, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. For me, a little gaming at the end of the workday helps reset my brain. I've been digging June's Journey. It's a free to download, fun and intriguing murder mystery game that immerses you in the roaring 20s. Search for objects and clues hidden in beautifully crafted 1920s scenes. It's so oddly satisfying to find hidden objects, and I love how it keeps me in the moment. Being present helps me melt away the stress of the outside world. In between helping June Parker solve her sister's murder, enjoy customizing your very own garden, island, and mansion. A mystery meets home improvement. What's not to love? Download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on the screen. June's Journey is available on Android and iOS mobile devices, also available on PC through Facebook Games.
Next, we have the double sink. These are farm sink depth. So you can see that these are a lot deeper than a normal kitchen's sinks would be. These cabinets down here, these are standard size cabinets, as is the granite countertop. Then, if we come this way, this is a propane-driven Summit stove. This stove runs off propane. Off of one outdoor grill size propane tank, I can run my stove for 5 months. At the price of $21 per tank, I am basically spending less than $100 a year to cook. I always have my microwave here, and if you look down here, you'll see that there's a little space here. This is actually where the cat box is. With this curtain, it both helps her not be interrupted, and we don't have to look at her cat box. The next place we're going to is my bathroom. The noise you hear is the incinerating toilet. I know many people, if they're on a sewer pipe, they choose to go to flush toilets. In the desert, it's important that we conserve as much water as we can. The best way to conserve water may not be a composting toilet. This guy uses absolutely no water. There is a burn chamber. Everything gets burned up in there, and the byproduct is fly away ash. So you can put that in your garbage. I used to have a cupboard here. It was very cute, but it lacked a lot of space. So I took that down and I put these units up because this has given me a lot of space, more than I had before. This is a nice, very small cabinet, and you can see that you can get storage from here to here, but your actual bowl size is standard. This is my shower. It is a size where a large man, a large woman, or two small people could also use this shower. This was a very inexpensive 3-panel shower that you put together. This works great. I was living in North Carolina. It became obvious to me that my body was in North Carolina, but my soul was still in New Mexico. I always knew I wanted to come back. I just didn't know when. And so as time went by, I said to myself, I am not getting any younger. And so I decided I will build a tiny home, and get ready for the move meant that I spent 8 years saving as many cheles as I could. And when I had a sufficient nest egg, that's when I came back. So I basically came back to die here. And I know when I say that, sometimes it freaks people out. I do not plan on dying soon. But when I go, I want my body and soul to be in the same place. My building experience is not the norm. Almost nothing I do is the norm, so it fell right in line. I had decided that I would take my finances, I would build or have built a tiny home. My guys, Kevin and Barry, they did other construction, and I met them in the coffee shop. The benefit of them never having built a tiny home is this house is incredibly sturdy. It is literally a stick-built house that met all of the residential home building regulations in North Carolina. So, this is my standing workstation. This was another thing that was very important for me to have in my house. I do work at my kitchen table, but I like to alternate that with the standing workstation, just for comfort's sake. And this was very important to me also. I have been to a lot of places. I've traveled and worked in remote and isolated places. And this is particularly noteworthy for me because these 3 shelves remind me first of who I am. Not that I used to smoke tobacco, but this reminds me of my grandparents. This is a part jaw from a dolphin. This reminds me of my days as a park ranger. My hat from times of being a park ranger, I still keep, along with this, which is where I was stationed as a park ranger. And this is my 10 years in Alaska, 8 of them in the Arctic. And then this reminds me of the students who gave this to me when I quit teaching English as a second language. So this is important to me because it tells me who I am. Now we're moving toward my bedroom. This was very important to me, as I've already told you. The bed on the bottom floor, so I don't have to climb ladders, and there's no potential for me to fall far if I roll out of bed, although these 2 bookcases pretty much hold me in. But here in this bookcase, this is another area of things that remind me of where I've been and who I am. So this bedroom has a full-size bed, which is just big enough for me and perchance one tiny other person, which is probably my cat Juno. Then we have a long shelf here that has a lot more books. Books are my thing. And I know it doesn't look like me, but one of my students, who turned out to be a renowned artist from the Middle East, did this portrait of Barbara. If you look down here at the end of my bed, this is where we have, once again, more storage. But also, everything under this bed is storage. Up on the wall, the cupboard you see, this is my seasonal clothing cupboard. I take out my winter clothes, and the summer clothes go underneath the bed, and vice versa. So I also have storage up in my lofts. This one is for an extra sleeping loft, but it's also my den and my library. The other loft at the other end is the garage, and you can see that I have black piping up here, and that is because the way I get to my loft involves a very simple rescued attic ladder. Some states are not tiny home friendly, so I ended up behind a friend's house. So I was using her as the host house for electricity and for water. At that time, I also built a gray water treatment pond because I was not hooked into sewer. I lived there for 8 years to save money to come back to New Mexico. Everything has worked out as I planned it because I planned it. I can live on my Social Security check, and there is not the stress of I have to get a job. So eventually I want to go back to part-time work, but for right now I'm just living the high life and having a heck of a good time.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Instagram for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description below.